Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Dark Shinkalion from Shinkansen Henkei Robo Shinkalion Z the animation. This thing is awesome. I've been really excited for this one ever since I saw the initial pictures online. It's got a robot and a horse. The robot can ride the horse. It's of course got the train mode. It's also got a Centaur mode, and then it kind of has like a souped up robot mode as well. So ton of playability with this one, and it's definitely giving me like Woolkaiser vibes from Haji Ranger because the setup is kind of the same, all the different transformations and everything. So front of the box, as you can see, have all the different modes here. Top of the box and bottom of the box are exactly the same, just kind of shows off the name and a little picture here over on the side. Over on this side, we get a picture of the train itself. Over on this side, we have just the different modes: train, robot, and horse. Centaur mode, and then here's that souped up robot mode. Spin it around to the back, and again, it's just showing off all the different modes and everything. Of course, you have compatibility with the other figures in this line. You can swap all the limbs out and everything like that. So there's a ton going on with this one. I'm really excited. So let's go ahead, let's get it out of the box, and let's take a closer look. Alright, so this is everything you get in the box. There are a ton of pieces for this one. We're going to form 5 separate train cars, and I kind of have the pieces separated out per train car just because I thought it'd be easier to present it that way. So let's go ahead, let's start building our trains here. This is kind of the standard torso piece that we're used to with the head and the chest. So we're going to start by pushing this piece in, and that will click underneath, which will allow the head to drop down, and then this piece is going to close up over that. You're going to take the 2 hand pieces. These will become the arms in the robot mode. Peg that together. This is going to peg into the back of this. And then we're going to take these little wheel pieces and peg them underneath. So this one's actually very similar to most of the trains in this line. This first train goes together very similarly. It's not really anything new here. Love the design though. Black and red look really sharp together. I love the angry face here on the front of this car. Those gold teeth really pop, and you have little silver slits for eyes there. Very, very cool. So that's our first train. We'll put that off to the side. Next up, we will do, I guess we'll do this train next. So something new with this one, you have these plates. This is something we haven't seen in this line before. This is just like one solid plate with all the wheels attached and the 2 connector pieces. So this comes into play in a moment. But we're going to take these 2 pieces, we're going to peg them together, and this will get used for kind of waist pieces and leg pieces later on, as you can probably tell. This is going to peg in here. That's upside down. We're going to peg it in like that. We're going to... Now, this part's actually kind of tricky, trying to get this part. This hole here on the bottom is for this little piece here. And sometimes these two, they tend to kind of curve in towards each other. So getting them to peg into these 2 pegs on here is a little difficult. But we'll get this to work here. I don't know why it's this one's really difficult. It's like the only one I have trouble with. Okay, there we go. That actually wasn't too bad. So now you can see that there's one solid piece underneath here for the train. This is going to come and sit on top of this, like so. There we go. This is going to peg in here, I believe facing this way. There we go. And then this hides underneath here, and I'm trying to remember exactly how this goes. I think it hides underneath here. Yes, so there are 2 tiny peg holes right here, and then this has these little pegs right here, and so this pegs in underneath. I'll be honest, this thing... It's kind of a cool head crest. It's meant to peg into a lot of places throughout all the different modes, and it doesn't really stay in all that well. Here it actually stays in pretty decently, but there are several times later on that it doesn't really stay in place all that well. But here is our second car, so we'll put this off to the side. Alright, I might have to refer to the directions here for a moment. Yes, okay, so the next one is, I think this one? No. This one. So these 2 pieces are going to sandwich together like so. Then we're going to take this and again peg it underneath. And I have to make sure I'm doing this correctly. I think this always goes in the front. There we go. That one pegs on a little bit easier. Then we're going to take these pieces and just kind of pop them in to here. And then these little pieces, it's kind of funny. These get moved around a lot. They don't really do much. They're really only used in one configuration. So you just kind of always have them kind of hanging somewhere. If you want to put them off to the side, I guess you can, but the official configuration has these pegged in here on the side like this. So there's our third car. Put that off to the side. Bring in this one next. We have these pieces here that we're going to, once again, sandwich together like so. Then we're going to take these pieces, which will kind of fill in these empty spaces here. So that pegs in there and there, like so. Then we're going to once again bring this in, but we only have one place to peg it in this time. I believe this goes in the front. So this will peg in like so. And then this piece drops on here. You can see that there are two pegs and then a larger peg. This larger peg fits in this space, and then the other two peg into this. So that pegs in like so. And then we can go ahead and peg in this little trident piece here on the front, just for storage. Again, you don't have to, but that's what they recommend. And now we will come along to the fifth and final car. If we move these off to the side. This one's going to go together pretty similarly to some of the other ones we've seen, where we have this kind of obvious, like, you know, crotch and leg compartment here that we're going to peg together. So let me remember how this goes together here. Sorry, let me refer to the directions very quickly, because there's a lot to keep track of with this one. Usually I can just kind of remember it, but there's so much going on with this one that it's just honestly kind of nuts. So these two spots right here will peg in right here and here. So there we have that. Then this comes in and kind of fits into this little space and pegs into the side. Going to take this pegs in here like this. And then once again, this pegs on here, and that all goes together. And then you just take these and pop them onto the bottom. So there we go. We have our 5 trains, and we can connect them together. So you just go ahead and pop this on here. There we go. That clicks. And then this one clicks onto this one. And then this clicks onto this one. And so on and so forth until you have all 5 of them connected together. So here we go. Here is the full Dark Shinkalion train. It's massive, honestly. It can kind of, you know, eat its own tail. It's just absolutely gigantic. It looks fantastic. It is plow rail compatible. So if you have plow rail track, it can fit in that. Rolls pretty well if you have enough space to actually roll it around. But it's just an absolutely massive train. Alright, so next up we're going to do the basic robot transformation. You're only going to use these 2 cars, the very first one and the very last one, with the exception of a few pieces we need to take from over here. We're going to take this piece off the top. We're going to take this piece off the top. We can leave this behind. So we'll put this here for now. And then also we need to take the trident. So these 3 cars will be used to build the horse, which we will do in a moment. But for now, we're just going to put them off to the side and concentrate on the main robot first. So this is honestly going to be very similar to the robots we usually do. The transformation is very similar. We're going to go ahead and, of course, remove these bottom pieces first. And these will just kind of get put off to the side. Honestly, all the wheel components just get put off to the side when we're doing these transformations. You really only use them in the train configuration. So we're going to put all that off to the side, and then we're just going to start taking these apart like we do. So this will split open and just disassemble it back into its components. So take this apart, take these off the back. We will start by flipping open this little compartment here. And this can be a little difficult to do. You just kind of have to wiggle it, and sometimes it helps if you can get kind of like a little fingernail in there. But this is going to lift up. Then this is going to come down to fill that space. If I can actually get it to do it. There we go. And that will snap into place. And so there we have our kind of torso section. We're going to take these pieces here. They will become our legs/feet. This will flip up. This will fold down. This will flip around. Then this little section here will just kind of come and fold down. We'll do that again with this one. And like I said, these are very, very similar to the way most of these trains transform. It's not really anything new. So if you've seen a review before, or if you have one of these, you probably know what's up. Fold that piece up. These are going to peg in, and then we'll kind of give them some space here. We can go ahead and drop this section on top, like so. Going to take what will become the arms and hands, split that apart. This is going to fold down. This panel here on the side will slide back. This will go up and click into place. Peg that in. Do the same over here. Drop this down. Flip that up. Push that up there. There you go. Now a couple extra pieces here. We're going to take these. And I have to remember which way this works. I believe, yeah, it goes up like this. So these are going to peg on here and here. And then this is going to peg into these spots here on the back, like so. And let me zoom out and angle the camera up so you can actually see it. And here we go. Here is the robot mode. We can give him these two accessories. This little shield has a peg right there, which can peg into his hand as a shield. And then we can go ahead and give him the trident over here in this hand. So there is our full completed robot mode. So I really like the look of this. Again, the color scheme I think really works. You have mostly black and red with a little bit of gray and gold. Really breaks it up. Really, really looks good. The wings here you can have up, like if he's kind of flying or moving around. They also show off having the wings kind of down here, almost like Cell from Dragon Ball Z. That's what I always think of when someone has wings down like that. But in any case, so you have two configuration possibilities there. Articulation, pretty standard for this line. You have the head is on a ball joint there, so you have a little bit of side to side, but mostly up and down, of course, side to side. Really nice ratchets here. Just make sure you don't knock into anything. You have a swivel, I guess a hinge there, swivel at the bicep. You have a little over 90 degrees in the elbow. You do have a wrist swivel as well, so that can move. You have a waist swivel. You have really nice ratchets. You can hear them in the hip, out to the side as well. You have a thigh swivel. You have double jointed knees, which are really nice ratchets. You can hear those as well. And then you have kind of a ball joint down here for the ankle, so you got a lot of nice movement there. So really very cool. Now, honestly, these pieces, if you don't like the look of these hanging out there, you can put these back in. It really doesn't do anything. I think it's just to kind of give the legs a little bit of character because they kind of look thin otherwise. But if you like that look, you can push them in. They don't really get in the way or do anything. So that is an option that you have. I love the trident. I think that's cool. I like that it has a logical stopping point, so it, you know, doesn't necessarily like move around in his hand too much, which I really like. And like I said, you can pop these back up if you desire. Another thing that's really, really cool, and let me move the trident out of his hand so you can actually see this. So the mouth that's on his chest actually opens. You kind of have to just wiggle this around a little bit because it's the way the teeth interlock. So it's a little difficult at times. There you go. Lift that up, and then you can kind of slide this up, and he does have a cannon inside his mouth. And I just love the look of that. I love the look of the mouth opening like that, and when you close it up, you have to make sure that the teeth line up. That's really cool. I think they did a really nice job with that. There are a few stickers you can see. There's a sticker here on the abdomen, some stickers here on this piece. You have a sticker here on the bottom of each shin. You have stickers on the inside of the leg. That's really it. Oh, I'm sorry. Then there's also one on the inside of the forearm. But you can see the head sculpt, I think, looks really, really good. Really nicely painted and detailed. Really like the look of that quite a bit. So I think this robot mode is fantastic. I love the shield. I kind of wish the shield sat up a little bit higher. I wish he kind of grabbed it a little bit more towards the middle. But I'm sure it's logistics for the other things that it needs to do. But it's a really cool robot. Love the color scheme. Love the articulation. Love the accessories. Love the cannon in the mouth there. Very well hidden. So absolutely love the look of this guy. But this is only the tip of the iceberg. Let's build the horse. So we have the other three cars here. I went ahead and removed these plate pieces. We don't need them for anything. We're just going to put them aside. And we're just going to go ahead and kind of disassemble everything. This will split apart. These pieces here will pop off the side. And just get everything ready here. So pretty much a full disassembly of all the pieces. You can kind of leave these on. These will come off He's really pegging securely, so I guess that's a good thing. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to break it, though, while I'm trying to unpeg things. And then this will pop off of here. So we're going to take this. We're going to split this in half. This piece here will pull out, click into place, pop up, and then the head will rotate out. So there's our horse head. Now, I will say I kind of wish he had eyes. I feel like he needs like just red slits for eyes. And unfortunately, you don't have any. They didn't even give us stickers for it. I would understand if it was just like a sticker you put in there. You have a little bit of pop of red up there, which is nice. But anyway, here is the horse front of the body. You're going to take these pieces, and we're going to rotate this around. Hold on, I have to remember. There's a way these fit in. You can see that there's clips right here, and so that's going to clip in here, and I just have to make sure I'm pegging this in correctly. I think this is correct. So this will peg in here on the side. There we go. We're going to take the other one. We're going to rotate this down, and then this is going to peg in on this side. And you can kind of see how it has kind of the like bevel out for it so that it fits in there, and it all just really fits in the space nicely. If it wants to actually click in for me now. There we go. They click in very securely, so that's not something you have to worry about. These guns are actually going to become the front legs. You can see they have a connection point in there. So you're going to just kind of rotate this back, and then this is going to peg in here, and then just kind of rotate this back a little bit so it's out of the way. That will click in there. So you can see we kind of have the front of the horse. We're going to come around to these pieces. This is going to kind of extend out, and you can see there's a fist in here, but you want to kind of hide that back in. This is going to slide down like this. We're going to take these pieces, and you can see that there's two connection points right here, and there are two connections right here, so we're just going to go ahead and peg that in like so. We're going to grab this one, do the same thing, bring this down. This is going to peg in here like this. These two pieces are going to sandwich back together, so I guess we could have left them. This is going to peg in. You can see this piece here will fold in, and we'll actually peg into the side here. Now, it's actually kind of neat because there is a little tab here or a peg that's used for something else. They put this channel in here so that when you put this in, oh, I don't have this done all the way. There we go. When you put this in, it can still move in that channel so the peg doesn't get in the way, which is actually really cool. And then just kind of bring the leg down a little bit further. Tuck that fist in case that pops out again. Bring this one around. Pop this in. Peg that into the side. This is going to peg in. You can see that there are two large pegs. They're going to peg in right... Oh, I'm sorry. It's these two down here. These two down here will peg in right here. So that goes in like so. Where are you? It's just funny because you wouldn't think like it's not even, but that is how it goes. So we have the horse taking shape. This piece here, there's kind of a little connection spot right there where my thumb is, and that's going to peg onto this little spot right here. So this just kind of comes in, clicks on, and then you can droop it down like so. And there we go. We have our horse. Now you can leave these up, you can push them down. I guess the directions technically have them going straight down. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But there is the horse. He looks very, very cool. I like him a lot. Now the cool thing is, if we bring this guy back in, now he doesn't, he unfortunately doesn't have like somewhere to peg in. I wish he really did, but he doesn't. So you just kind of have to like bend him. And maybe I'm missing it, but I swear I've looked in the directions and I couldn't find anywhere for him to actually peg in when he's on top. But he definitely can sit on here and he fits. Now, unfortunately, he's very back heavy, as you can see. Let me angle this around. So he kind of leans back because of how, high up these pieces are. But he absolutely can ride the horse. I just wish, because if you look at it, there are peg holes on his thighs. if I can actually get him off again. You can see that there's peg holes here, and it would have been neat if there was a way for him to like peg on, but because of where his legs have to be for him to fit, you know, it doesn't really lend itself to have pegs on the horse's body there. But it's totally possible for him to ride the horse. You can kind of angle him forward. Maybe this will help with... Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. The other thing you could do is you could angle these down, which might help with weight distribution if we angle these down. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. So, I mean, that's crazy, man. It's a giant robot riding a giant robot horse. That's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. That looks very, very cool. I really like it a lot. And we're still not even done. We've got 2 more forms to take a look at. So real quick before we get into the Centaur mode, I did forget something. This piece that I was talking about earlier, get him to stand up. This is meant to go on the back of the horse head as kind of a mane. And it doesn't really work all that well. You can see, if I can zoom in here, there's kind of a small channel right here. If you can see that, I think that's showing up. And this is supposed to kind of feed into that, but it doesn't really work all that well. Well, I guess it works okay. It's working better now than it did earlier when I was messing with it, but you're supposed to put that on the back as kind of a mane. But as you can see, the head is rectangle shaped, and this is kind of triangle shaped or pentagon shaped. So that's why it doesn't really work. It just kind of hangs there, and it's unfortunate. I wish there was a way you could just like peg this in the back or something like that, or you know, these 2 pieces here could somehow be used to kind of peg on here. Something like that I think would work a little bit better. So I appreciate what they were going for. You know, they're trying to give you like a mane here for the horse, and it kind of works, but it's just not fantastic. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's get on to the Centaur mode, which is very, very cool. So we're going to go ahead and basically just take this guy apart at the waist. We're going to take this piece off completely. We're going to set this piece off to the side for the moment. We're going to take this off and this off. This piece here, we're going to take the shield from earlier, and you can kind of see that there are 2 notches right here, and they're going to kind of drop over the legs. So you kind of have to, and this is weird because there's not really a great place to line it up, but this kind of sits on top of here, and then that just kind of pegs on there like that. So we take this, and this is going to peg in. You can see that there are 2 spots right here. This is going to peg on right here. If I can get this to actually connect. There we go. We're going to take this piece. This pops off, and this pops off. Now, I believe we take this and these straighten out. Yeah, these are supposed to go down. And then this piece here will actually peg in underneath here. It kind of becomes his new waist area. We have to take the head of the horse. We have to push this down. This is going to pop up. And then this whole thing is going to slide in like that. These 2 peg spots right here are going to peg in right here and here. I guess we have to put these up. I keep going back and forth on this. So this has to peg in like this. And right there. We're going to take the old horse legs, and these are going to disconnect. And we're going to put the robot legs in the front here to kind of give that a little bit more heft, a little bit more functionality. Now again, you can push these up or not push these up. I think the directions officially tell you to go ahead and just push these up. Just again, make it look a little bit cleaner. At this point, we're going to take these pieces, kind of angle these up. These are going to peg in over here. There are just little peg spots right there. So we're going to peg that one in like so. Then we're going to come around to here, and you can actually angle these up a little bit and bring the legs down just to give it a little bit more flair. So these can come up. This is going to peg in here like so. I'm going to move these. I had these pegged in. See, these things have 2 pegs, so I want to peg it onto the bottom one. There we go. And then these pieces we're going to take, and we're going to peg these in. Which one? I don't think it matters. but these are going to peg in. Actually, do these? Yes. Okay, so it goes like that. So you can see that there are 2 pegs here, and there are 2... Oh, this one doesn't have 2. All right. Then I guess I'm going to have to peg it onto this one. Let me double check the directions here. Where does this go? Pegs into the top one. Okay, so that pegs into the top one. So then I will adjust this one. See, some of these, it's because they use different pieces, or, you know, one has a peg, one has a peg hole. But anyway, there we go. There is the Centaur mode. It's nuts. We'll go ahead. We'll give him the trident. I love this mode. I really do. You have a ton of crazy articulation. I should have showed it off for the horse as well, but you have nice ratchets here. You have, of course, the double jointed knees. You have the ankle tilt now. Now, the horse obviously only had the straightforward leg, so that didn't have any articulation. But you have some nice movement back here. You have movement here and here. You have this movement. This is a very, very tight, just kind of swivel joint. I don't know why it's so tight, but that worries me. I think it'll be fine, but it really does worry me a little bit. And then you have this swivel up here. And then, of course, all the same articulation that the top of the robot had in the robot mode. So this is the crazy Centaur mode. Oh, actually, this little piece, I always forget to attach this thing. This is supposed to go back on here the same way as it did with the horse head, connecting in the exact same spot. But yeah, this is a crazy mode, and I absolutely love it. Last but certainly not least, we have the Ultra Robot mode, or whatever you want to call it. It basically has to take everything completely apart, so this is going to come off. This is going to unpeg. We're going to unpeg the arms. We're going to take this piece off the bottom here. This will stay the same. The arms we're actually going to collapse back up. Let me push that in there. That will go like that. This will spin around. Close that completely up. Put that off to the side. We have to disassemble the entire horse, which I believe I can disconnect this. Yes, so we'll put that there like that. These pieces are going to pop off. This will actually spin around like this, and this is going to become a new waist. This is going to peg together. There we go. We're going to take the old legs off, and we're going to close those back up. So all the way back, like you're transforming it into the train, like so. This is going to fold up. Okay, so we have those folded up. We can go ahead and take this and peg this under here. So you can see it has the same torso, but it has a much larger waist, but I promise it's going to look good when we're done. We're going to disassemble all of this. This has to disconnect. This has to disconnect. This comes off. This unpegs. This pops off. These are going to split apart. And we're finally going to use these. We haven't really used this for much recently, but this is going to fold down, and this is going to become new legs. So we're going to fold out this foot piece from the back, and this is actually the heel. So we're going to take this, and we're going to peg this in here as our new legs. We're actually going to take the old hand pieces. I believe it's the old hand pieces. Yes. These are going to peg onto the back here, I guess just for storage. So they will peg there. And then we will kind of stand him up over here. Make sure. Now he gets very kind of top and back heavy, so you just have to watch that, but it will all work out. We're going to take this off. We're going to take this off. So these were kind of the back haunches of the horse. As you can see, they already kind of look like arms. So this is just going to flip out. This very tight kind of bicep swivel is going to spin around. And then this is going to flip around like this. And then we have a new fist under there. That's going to peg in like this. We're going to take this piece, detach this, detach this. This is going to flip around, extend the fist, and then again, that really tight bicep swivel that always worries me. And then this is going to peg in here like that. So you can see we already have kind of the basic larger robot taking shape using completely new arms and completely new legs. So the rest of this stuff, you can see we still have all these pieces left over. We're finally going to use these pieces. So what were the old legs, we're going to just go ahead and pop one of these pieces in, and that will click into place. And then these are just going to store here on the side of the new legs. I guess just to give it some bulk, because otherwise it might look a little skinny. So there you go. Those are now on the side like that. And they don't really click into place anywhere else. It's just up there. We're going to take this piece. We're going to flip these back up. We're going to take these pieces and we're going to, let me make sure I'm angling these correctly. I believe this goes on like this. This will peg in there. This will peg in here. We're going to pop this back just like we did with the original robot mode. We're going to take the old torso and legs. We're going to bend this at the upper knee. We're going to take what were the front horse legs. They're actually blasters as well. These are going to connect onto here and here. And I kind of like to just pop them out a little bit to the side. This is going to drop down in here. So this will pop on here like so. At this point, we have this piece here, which is going to pop onto this. And then this will actually kind of become a giant blaster. Now this piece, where does this piece go? Oh, that's right. This goes on the back of his forearm as kind of a shield. So there's a little peg hole right there. This pegs in to that, like so. So he's got kind of a shield there. Now, to get this to work, you kind of have to straighten the arm out completely because this thing is so massive. But this peg right here is going to peg into his fist, like so. And there we go. Actually, the last crowning touch, as I angle this up slightly, is to slide this onto the head up here. And there we go. Using all of the pieces, we have this gigantic, crazy super mode. If you want to give him the trident, you can. It does kind of fit in there. It is going to kind of hit into the shield a little bit. But we can push this in. Oh, actually, I see it's tapered. I just noticed this. So if we take a look at this, you can see it's tapered so that it will stop here because it's kind of a smaller fist than the normal robot mode has, which is pretty cool. So once again, here is the massive new robot mode. He's got some firepower. I mean, this guy is absolutely decked out. I mean, this blaster here is massive. He's got the shoulder cannons. He's got the trident. Articulation-wise, it's pretty much the same. I mean, the entire torso has the same ratchets up here. The head's exactly the same. You have a swivel here. You have that really tight bicep. You have 90-degree bend there. You have wrist swivel. Actually, does this one? This one does not have wrist swivel because of the way it transforms. You have the waist swivel up here. Does this not have? It should. I'm not going to test that, so maybe it doesn't. It looks like it should, because usually that piece moves. Oh, actually, you know what? It probably doesn't because we had to sandwich those two pieces together. Okay, so no waist, no waist movement and no wrist movement. But again, really nice tight ratchets here. You do have a thigh swivel, double jointed knees as well, and then you have movement down here. Let's see, we have a rock back and forth. It's not a ball joint, I don't think. It's a rock and a hinge. But yeah, he's massive, and I love him, and he's crazy gigantic. Very, very, very cool. This guy is phenomenal. It's easily my favorite release from the line so far. I just think they did such a great job with this. I love the robot mode. I love the horse mode. You got the Centaur mode. You have the super robot mode. I mean, just every mode is so great. It's hard for me to I was trying to pick which one was my favorite, and I honestly couldn't figure it out. I really, really, really like all of them. It's just such a fun toy. There's so much playability. There's so many different combinations, and I didn't even get into mixing and matching it with previous releases in the line, which of course is possible. I mean, the arm and leg ports can be switched with any of the previous releases. You can have any of the other robots ride the horse. You can, use the other robots in place with the horse to make different combinations. This line has so much playability in it. But like I said, I really, really like this one. Color scheme's great. Articulation's great. All the different combinations are fantastic. I love the angry face molded into the front of the train. I love the fact that it opens up to reveal the cannon inside. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I kind of like how there isn't so much kibble on the side of the legs here. And if you want, you could absolutely just fold that back in for a cleaner look if that's something you prefer. These things I still don't love, but I completely understand that they're necessary for the plow rail system and everything. But if you never care about them, you can always just kind of throw them off to the side. They're not really necessary for anything but the train mode. And honestly, you could still build the train mode without them. They just wouldn't roll. So, I just wish there was somewhere to store those or something to do with them other than throw them off to the side and hope you don't lose them. In any case, I think this is such a great release. I definitely recommend it. If you buy one release from this line, it should be this one. This is definitely the best in my opinion. I absolutely love it. If I had to nitpick things that I don't like about it, this piece here attaching to the horse doesn't work the best. I get what they were going for, but honestly, you could leave it off. It's not that important. They just try to incorporate it as kind of a mane for the horse. I do wish the horse had some red eyes or something on the side just to give it a little bit more character. I feel like it needs some kind, like just some red slits for eyes. I think would really pop and give the horse head a little bit of character and more, a little bit more definition. But other than that, it's so fun. I love this one. Definitely cannot recommend it enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.